Step into the captivating world of medicine and explore intriguing clinical tales that will leave you in awe and fascination. Welcome to our YouTube channel, where every story is a journey through the extraordinary experiences encountered in the realm of healthcare. Today is a story of a patient EA. He was bright, with a quick wit and a warm smile that could light up a room. But underneath that charm lay a hidden struggle that few could comprehend. EA's journey with schizophrenia began when he was just a teenager. It started innocently enough, with whispers in the corners of his mind. At first, he brushed them off as fleeting thoughts, nothing more than the echoes of his imagination. But as time passed, those whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they became a cacophony of voices that drowned out reality. It was like living in a world of shadows, where the lines between what was real and what was not blurred beyond recognition. EA's hallucinations took many forms. Sometimes, he would see sinister figures lurking in the shadows, their eyes filled with malice. Other times, he would hear the voices of people long gone, speaking to him as if they were still alive. His hallucinations tormented him day and night, leaving him exhausted and afraid. He struggled to hold on to his grasp of reality, clinging desperately to the fragments of his sanity. But no matter how hard he tried, the darkness always seemed to find a way in. For EA, the hardest part was not knowing what was real and what was not. He felt like a prisoner in his own mind, trapped in a never-ending cycle of confusion and fear. And as much as he longed for escape, he knew that there was no easy way out. As EA's schizophrenia progressed, his hallucinations became increasingly vivid and terrifying. One particularly harrowing incident occurred during a stormy night. As thunder roared and lightning illuminated the sky, EA found himself alone in his apartment, the shadows dancing eerily on the walls. Suddenly, he heard a knock at the door. With a trembling hand, he approached, his heart pounding in his chest. When he opened the door, there was no one there, just the howling wind and the driving rain. But as he stepped back into the safety of his home, he saw them, figures lurking in the darkness, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Terrified, EA tried to escape, but everywhere he turned, the figures followed, their menacing whispers growing louder with each passing moment. He could feel their icy breath on his neck, their hands reaching out to grab him. In a panic, EA fled to his bedroom, barricading the door behind him. But even there, he was not safe. The walls seemed to close in around him, twisting and contorting like a nightmare come to life. And in the corners of the room, he saw them, twisted, grotesque creatures with twisted smiles and empty eyes. Desperate for escape, EA closed his eyes and prayed for it all to end. And when he opened them again, he found himself alone once more, the storm outside finally subsiding. But the memory of that night haunted him, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked within his own mind. As time went on, EA experienced more terrifying hallucinations, from being chased by shadowy figures through dark alleys to seeing his own reflection twist and distort into monstrous forms. Each experience left him shaken to the core, wondering if he would ever find peace from the chaos that raged within him. But despite the horrors he faced, EA refused to give up hope. And then an incident shatters his hope. One fateful night, in the grip of a particularly intense hallucination, EA experienced a moment of profound disorientation and confusion. In the midst of his hallucination, EA became convinced that he was being pursued by malevolent forces bent on his destruction. Desperate to defend himself, he lashed out blindly, striking out at the shadows that seemed to surround him. In his mind, he believed he was fighting for his very survival. In his frantic state, EA stumbled upon a scene of apparent danger, a dark alleyway where two figures seemed to be engaged in a violent altercation. Without hesitation, EA intervened, believing he was coming to the rescue of an innocent victim. However, in his delusional state, EA's actions turned tragic. In his attempt to defend the perceived victim, he inadvertently caused harm to one of the individuals involved in the altercation. It was only when the hallucination began to fade that EA realized the horrifying truth: he had committed a crime in the throes of his mental illness. Overwhelmed with guilt and remorse, EA turned himself in to the authorities, his mind consumed by the knowledge of what he had done. Though he knew his actions had been driven by his mental condition, he could not escape the consequences of his actions. As EA navigated the legal system, he grappled with feelings of shame and self-loathing, haunted by the knowledge of the harm he had caused. But even in his darkest moments, he refused to let his illness define him. With the help of therapy and medication, he worked tirelessly to regain control of his mind and find a sense of redemption in the aftermath of his crime. So that was the story for today. Join us on this remarkable journey through the corridors of medicine, where every story shared brings us closer to understanding the human experience.